you ever feel like screens are running your life? The constant pings, back-to-back meetings, and endless hours staring at a screen can leave you drained and unfocused. But what if you could take back control of your day? Welcome back to the Long-Distance Worklife, where we help you lead, work, and thrive in remote and hybrid teams. I'm Marisa Eikenberry, a fellow remote worker, and as always, joining me is my co-host, Wayne Turmel. Hi, Wayne.
That would be me. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well. It's good. We're heading into the holiday season as we record this,
Right? And I
right?
think it'll be January when it comes out. So
So everybody
hopefully,
will be in a fetal position after having survived the
or
holidays.
refreshed. It might be
Okay,
both.
yeah. Well, the only way you're going to be refreshed is if you actually get downtime, which leads us to
Right? Yeah, today we're actually going to talk about screen fatigue and digital detoxing and what it is and how you can break free from the cycle to feel more balanced in your remote work life, which is something we would all aspire to have. So, Wayne, why don't we just start off with the basic definition of what is screen fatigue? How does it manifest in remote work settings?
well, screen fatigue is actually a couple of things. But it basically means we're on screens all the time. And, you're on your phone, you're checking your phone, and then you're staring at a computer monitor. And then you take a break by going downstairs and watching TV, which is basically a larger computer
Screen. Yeah.
monitor. And then you say, oh, I'm going to go read a book, but it happens to be on a Kindle or a tablet, which is yet another screen.
Right.
And so there are a couple of challenges there. One is physical.
Mhm.
Uh, Staring into a screen all that time is not only bad for your eyes, but it is physically draining. The blue light that emanates from those screens has actual physical effects on the human body, which we will talk about. The other thing is you're constantly taking in information and input. And if you don't give your brain a break, it becomes mentally and physically exhausting.
Right. You might actually get kind of irritable, or I know if I've been looking at screens a lot and I've been doing a lot of, especially like research or something, like I kind of a jerk if I don't have a break.
And, I mean, for some of us for whom curmudgeon is our default setting, it might be less noticeable. But when Marissa's in a bad mood, the world notices, is
Ah,
what we're saying.
wow.
Uh, so, so the fact is that there is this constant bombardment and barrage and intake. And at some point, the only way, it's not like, well, I'm going to watch YouTube videos on my phone instead of staring at spreadsheets. Your brain doesn't care
Yeah.
what the content is. It's the actual interaction of your eyes and your scrolling finger and your brain with a screen, period, which leads to this notion of a digital detox.
Mhm.
And a lot of people kind of take a detox. Well, it's not like it's an
Yeah.
addiction, it's not alcohol, it's a, but in
It is.
fact, call it what you want. It has all the earmarks of an addiction. When it goes away, your brain responds, dopamine, neuron receptors, all that good stuff,
Mhm.
responds in the same way as any bad habit,
Right.
right?
Well, and when
I
you wake
mean,
up in the morning, you grab your phone. Like, what are the screens that you gravitate towards without even thinking about it?
yeah, it's funny. They have done studies and found that Farmville, sets off the same dopamine receptors in your brain as cocaine.
That
When
is a
I
game I
play
haven't
it,
heard about in a long time.
but it's changing so quickly.
Yeah.
But Farmville was one of the first where they gamified something to a point that it actually became addictive. And
Mhm.
then, it was Angry Birds, and then it
And
was
Candy
this, and it
Crush,
was
and yeah.
that. And somehow I have avoided all of those. And yet I will Twitter doom scroll for hours.
Right. Well, and then there's
right?
TikTok now, right? Like,
Well,
sit there and
and they're
scroll for.
all. I do not blame the poor coders who are doing this because they are doing what they are requested to do. But the fact of the matter is that all these sites are designed to be addictive. They're
Mhm.
designed to play with the pleasure centers of your brain. And let's assume for a moment that you are a superior being and I do not fall prey to this. I use
Whoop.
my screens for work and other noble purposes. But
Okay.
the fact of the matter is, when you hit send on an email, there is a ping in your
Hmm.
brain that goes, yay, I did something. What else can I do? Oh, look, there's another one.
Hmm.
And this is all not terribly scientific. And yet, we know it to be true. So the dopamine and reward systems and the feedback loops from screens are a big part of the problem. That's why every time we say, I'm just going to put my phone away and I'm not going to look at it, and it's in your hand before you know it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why there's that whole thing of, um, if your phone is your alarm, either A, stop, or B, like put it in another room, but loud enough you could still hear it, because there's so many people, and I will say I am also one of these people. This is not, you know, I am one of you. But but like you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is reach for your phone. And so it's like if it's not there, you have to physically get up and go get it. Well, now you're already up. Go do something else instead of bed rotting while watching TikToks. Not that I did that this morning or anything.
Well, it's funny. One of the ways that people are breaking this is going back to the future. Everybody remembers those horrible, ugly brown radio alarm clocks
I'm
with the
pretty sure
red
my
letters
dad
that you
still
used to
has
have
one.
beside your bed, right?
Yes.
Well, but here's the thing, that is actually better than your phone for keeping time because it's red light. It's not the blue light of your screen.
I
Every
never
time you
considered
pick
that.
up your phone and look at it, blue light hits your
Yeah.
eyes and your brain and it messes with your sleep patterns. Whereas the red light, so is well, I use this as my alarm clock. There are alarm clocks, right?
Right. Or even,
Whether
people who
you
wear
have the
Apple
ugly
Watches or
brown one
whatever,
with
you
the
can
red.
have it there too.
Yeah, but even your Apple Watch emits a blue
I
spectrum
understand.
light. So have an actual alarm clock, and then you don't have to have your phone by the bed.
Very true.
If it's not by the bed, there's less chance you're going to automatically reach for it.
Hmm.
So that's the reason for it. That's the reason we need a digital detox. But it's not that easy because it's the ubiquity of the screen. Like I say, I'm going to stop work for the day. Great. What am I going to do? I think I'll watch some YouTube videos. Well, that's the same problem, right?
Well,
You're
yeah.
staring at the same screen, maybe even the same device, and it's not helping.
Well, and especially with remote workers too, it's like, if you were in the office, you're in front of your screen, you're doing your thing. Oh, okay, I'm going to go meet with the marketing department. You physically get up and go to a conference room or you go to a table, and you're no longer on your screen because now you're face to face. That doesn't happen anymore. So now you're going from, I'm doing all this email and I'm doing all this stuff, and now I'm on Zoom, and now I'm having meetings through Zoom, and I'm talking to people on Slack that I wouldn't have spoken to like that if they were in the office. And there's almost this extended screen time that would not have necessarily happened if we were still in the office.
Right. And that goes on all day. And then our leisure activities take place on
Right.
screens, right? So part of it is what needs to be done. What do we actually need to do?
Hmm.
And we've talked about this 100 times on this show about removing the alerts and having a start and an end to your day where you are no longer doing work stuff,
Hmm.
right?
Well, and
And
even
those
breaks
are
during
hard
the day
habits to
too.
break. And taking breaks during the day, but then those breaks cannot include other screens.
100%. Like if you're going to go have lunch, go have lunch.
Yeah.
And like that's it.
But some of this is we have poor strategies around this, right? We decide, oh, we're going to go cold turkey. Well, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You are not going to go cold turkey. It doesn't work that way. Your brain is going to torture you and you will eventually crumble and collapse. So, how do we overcome this stuff? Well, first of all, you need to set clear goals. Why do I need a break? What kind of break do I want? How long a break am I going to take? That kind of thing.
Right.
Because if you say, well, I'm just not going to look at my phone for a while, your brain is going, how long is a while? Oh my God, we might be missing out on something. Whereas
no, so
say,
it's right there. I could see it.
Whereas I'm not going to look at my screen for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You might get a little twitchy, but at some point your brain goes, it's only 15 minutes, and then you will get back to the sweet embrace of the blue light glow.
Right.
Having no screen times, areas, the dinner table, no phones at the table.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many parents I see in restaurants tell their kids no phones at the table, and yet they're constantly doing this.
Oh, 100%.
So we need to walk it like we talk it, and having everybody as miserable as you is not a bad thing.
Well, and only because, the generation that I'm in, this whole concept of these darn kids and their darn phones, I'm not saying that we're not on technology all the time. Not saying that. I will also tell you, I see more boomers attached to their phones sometimes in certain situations. No offense to you, because that's not intended.
That's because we use the phone to expand so we can actually read the menu, and probably using it as a hearing aid. So
maybe.
there may be medical reasons, okay, yeah, smart yeah. Alec?
I'm just saying I do see that constantly where it's just like, these darn kids. And I'm like, my phone's in my purse in another room. You're playing Candy Crush while we're talking.
Yeah, but the idea of a no screen zone or obligatory no screen times is a really good and frankly important way to do it.
Right.
To start to break that habit. And there are alternatives. I don't know if you know this, books used to come on paper. And
or magazines. You can use both. Because I know I do.
No, because if you're doing both, you're looking at a screen. What I'm saying is, if you're going to use reading as a break activity,
right,
use a non-electronic format.
Fair.
Yes. I know, bite your lip.
I know, I have other tech things, but I'm not even going to go there. Because, okay. Actually, know what? I'm going to do it. If you have to use a piece of technology for something, Kindle, phone, whatever, there usually are some sort of setting that you can set to reduce the blue light during certain times that automatically kicks in. I'm a Kindle reader. I do also read physical books. Those of you that are watching can see them behind me. They're constantly there. But when I have my Kindle on at night, it's on a, lower level. It's on more red light than blue light. It's dimmer. People who have the Kindle Paperwhites, it's the e-ink, so it's actually better for your eyes anyway. There's all of these different things that if you feel like you need to be on a piece of technology, there are some ways to help combat some of these eye strain and other issues in general.
And there are certain things that just make sense. Not only for the blue light, but for the mental stimulation. No screens a half hour before you go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize everybody just got really twitchy because most of our routines is we watch TV until it's time to go to bed. Some people go to bed and turn on the TV and watch some more before it's time to go to bed. At the very least, the ones that are right in front of your face, radiating directly into your brain, no phones for a half hour before bedtime.
Right.
Put down your non-paperwhite Kindle and give yourself a break. That's when you brush your teeth and do your ablutions and whatever you need to do before you go to bed. Kill the screens and then do your bed routine, and your brain will more easily adjust to that.
Right. Well, and you were talking about, less notifications or no notifications earlier too. By doing that, we will theoretically pick up our phone less anyway, because you're not going to have the dings that you're used to, which, let's get real, it's a Pavlov's, dog situation. We hear the ding and so we pick it up.
And the lack of a ding does not mean there is nothing there. And my thing is, my phone is on vibrate or silent 90% of the time. But then I go, I wonder if anybody's called. Right. So there's that.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, though. Don't take your phone when you walk the dog. Get outside. When you're doing chores, put on music, do something else. Give your brain, your eyes, your entire physicality an actual break. It's weird to think that doing dishes and emptying the dishwasher and throwing a load in laundry could be a break, but it actually is in many ways.
Well, and it's funny that you say some of that too. So it's been a while since I've seen it, but there was a thing for a while on TikTok where they were, I think they had another word for it, but there were multiple at the time. But this idea of, go on silent walks. And it was like a brand new concept for, Gen Z or younger millennials, because that's just not what we do. And, even as we're talking, it's like, yeah, go on a walk without anything. Like, just listen to the nature.
I can't remember the last time I went for a walk with earphones in. Now, some of this is I don't have music on my phone. So there's no way to portably bring music. But I find if I'm walking the dog or I'm going for a walk and I don't have earbuds in, I hear things, I relax, I get to spy on the neighbors because I overhear conversations. It's really cool.
Right?
But yeah, I have quit plugging earphones in when I go for walks for exactly that reason.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me to
silent
think that
walks,
it's like a new phenomenon.
listen to your Uncle Wayne, leave the earbuds at home. And you got to develop these habits. The first time you do it, it's going to be weird and you're going to not know what to do with yourself. And it takes multiple times of doing something for it to become a habit. And it's important. It's funny, we are doing less physical labor than ever before for the most part. Human beings work less and our health is impacted by our work. Being seated all the time, being sedentary, constant exposure to screens. Yes, it's not tarring roofs in the hot sun and it's not, hauling wheelbarrows full of stuff, which is incredibly taxing on the body. But there is a cost to the way we're working. And especially as we get to the time of year when people do New Year's resolutions, which I try to avoid. But if you're doing New Year's resolutions, this is a really good one.
Yeah.
If you're worried about your health and you're trying to get healthier, this can actually play a really big part in it. And that means don't put your exercise plan solely on your phone.
Yes.
It defeats
Print it
the
out.
purpose.
It's okay.
So here's the thing. Yeah, go old school.
Paper planner.
Whatever, by any means necessary. Here's the deal. As we come to the end of the year, whenever you're listening to this, get some rest, take a break, catch up on your sleep, do what you need to do. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Your boss may pay great lip service and may even mean that they want you to take a break. But when you're on the screen answering that email at 10 o'clock at night, they're not stopping you either.
Right.
Right. And it's not that they're evil, horrible, exploitative people. And even if they are, you still can control what you can control.
Right. Well, Wayne, thank you so much for this episode. I hope that it's helpful to the people who are listening. And before we go, we're excited to share that the second edition of the Long Distance Leader is now available. So those of you who are starting your New Year's resolutions or thinking about things for this year, you might want to pick up this book because it is packed with actionable strategies to help you lead effectively in today's remote and hybrid environments. Don't wait. Order your copy at longdistanceworklife.com/LDL and take your leadership skills to the next level. And thank you so much for listening to the Long Distance Work Life. For show notes, transcripts, and other resources, make sure to visit longdistanceworklife.com. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a future one. And while you're at it, leave us a rating or review on Apple or Spotify. It's quick and it helps us reach even more listeners just like you. We would also love to hear from you. Reach out to us via email or LinkedIn using the links in our show notes. Let us know that you listened to this episode or even suggest a topic for Wayne and I to tackle in a future episode. We would love to hear from you. And finally, as Wayne likes to say, don't let the weasels get you down.